Welcome to Help Stop the Genocide in American Ghettos podcast. I'm your host, Emmanuel Barbee. I would like to encourage everyone on my Facebook friends list, everyone in my social groups, and all of my listeners worldwide. Please do me a favor. Hit that like button and share this video podcast with your friends, ladies and gentlemen. Make sure that you are subscribed to my YouTube page. It's free. Help make this video podcast go viral by posting this link to your Facebook page, your Instagram page, and or on your Twitter page. This video podcast is available in three forms: audio, video, and as a written text in order for us to reach our audience. We have upgraded our platform by moving from an audio podcast to a video podcast using StreamYard technology. We want to interact with our audience in real time through the chat room during our live streaming. I want to know if there is anyone on my Facebook friends list or anyone in my social groups that reside in the United States who knows how to do a professional fundraising. If so, please get in contact with me. Send me a message to my Facebook inbox. Help Stop the Genocide in American Ghettos podcast is our interactive Black grassroots media component. We discuss controversial topics that you don't hear about in the mainstream media. We're committed to reporting truthful and accurate news. We believe that now is the time for a comprehensive new strategy and a new movement for Black people / African people. I use this platform to interact with everyone on my friends list, everyone in my social groups by giving Black business owners free airtime to promote their products and services. I give people in the faith community an opportunity to share the gospel of Jesus Christ. I give the Black authors and ordinary law-abiding citizens an opportunity to share their special talents to my listeners from the global community. After the show, I offer my guest speakers an incentive by teaching them how to create their own podcasts and YouTube channel to help them generate extra revenue. I also assist people on my friends list with creating basic websites, finding college scholarships and grants, housing, and legal services, all for free. Here on out, we're going to use our GoFundMe page as an indicator of our progress in getting this film project fully funded and made. My film project is my last attempt to try to do something positive for my racial group here in America before I cut and run to Africa. At this time, all I can do is news commentary because I have little to no support. And so, it is what it is. We host our virtual conference every last Saturday of the month until we are able to raise the capital to fund our film project. Our film project, quote, Hood Liberator Made in Chicago, The War Against Willie Lynch Begins, is a solution-based docudrama which is based on my experience growing up in the inner cities of Chicago and the purpose why I created the grassroots community activist movement in the first place. This is our Black Panther moment, except it's not owned by Disney, it's owned by us. We want to get this film in front of 500 million people worldwide. We will offer a 21st century solution for both domestically within the United States of America and throughout the diaspora. Without support from the Black grassroots and the global African family, then I'm unable to do my job. This is why I'm reaching out to African immigrants within the United States of America from the following African nations: South Africa, Kenya, Ethiopia, Tanzania, Uganda, Angola, Liberia, Ivory Coast, Ghana, and Nigeria. Please stand up and work with me. The sooner we get this film project fully funded and made, the sooner we can build the Grassroots Community Activist Institute of Chicago and expand it to the African continent, starting in South Africa. Once the proceeds from the docudrama starts pouring in, then I would be in a better position financially to purchase property in Chicago, buy office equipment, and hire qualified black middle class professionals and African immigrants within the United States of America. I will run my Christian business the way I run my home, drama free. The Grassroots Community Activist Institute of Chicago's mission is to eradicate urban violence in Chicago through art, culture, commerce, spiritual development, and hosting African tours in 10 African nations. We're going to meet people from my African group, Rakai of Africa. I will bring the best of the diaspora to each African nation so that we can set up local chapters and do international trade among our brothers and sisters on the continent. We will reconnect black entrepreneurs with African entrepreneurs, black artists with African artists. In this Christian business, our objective is to heal from enslavement and colonization. Today's topic of discussion is as follows: the reasons why the FBI is singling out Mayor Eric Adams. Mayor Brandon Johnson using Chicago NAACP and black preachers to get black Chicagoans back in line, and politicians practicing benign and neglect against black Americans. Our first topic: the reason why the FBI is singling out Mayor Eric Adams. I found a video clip entitled, quote, Mayor Adams warned migrant crisis will destroy New York City, rips Biden for failing to help, unquote. I recommend that my listeners go to my Medium page and look up the exact title for this presentation. Then click on the topic and scroll down to show and prove so that you can watch the full video. There's also another video clip entitled, quote, Breaking Down FBI Probe into Adams' Mayoral Campaign, unquote. I have my own theory as to why the FBI is singling out Mayor Eric Adams. I believe that the Biden administration got embarrassed that Mayor Eric Adams spoke out against Biden's immigration policies on television. All these mayors and governors receive contributions for their political campaign. Governor Abbott helped expose the illegal immigration that is going on in America, and these Democrats created sanctuary cities and take pride in open border policies. According to the video, Mayor Eric Adams and New York City has a $11 billion deficit, and they are going to have to cut services in the city in order to help the migrants. And that's not fair to, the United States citizens, taxpayers, but it is what it is. This is how the Democrats, do things. This migrant crisis has also spread to my city, Chicago, under Mayor Brandon Johnson. On the one hand, you have a mayor, Eric Adams, saying this migrant crisis is going to ruin New York City, while Mayor Brandon Johnson refused to stop the buses or respect what the black voters are saying, that we don't want to remain a sanctuary city. Please leave a public comment on my YouTube page about the topic. Most of all, share this video podcast with your friends. This will help get the ball rolling. Our second topic: Mayor Brandon Johnson using Chicago NAACP and black preachers to get black Chicagoans back in line. Chicago Mayor Brandon Johnson thinks that if he gets the Chicago NAACP and black preachers behind him, then that would calm down black Chicagoans from calling out his mishandling of the migrant crisis. We're going to talk about Mayor Brandon Johnson's again and explain what's going on here in Chicago, like we did a few weeks ago on this podcast. Black people in Chicago do not want what happened to black people in Los Angeles. They ended up losing their community, and as a result, there was only 6% of the population with no political power whatsoever. Black Chicagoans are finally heeding to what I've been saying for the past 32 years. Unfortunately, our brothers and sisters in Los Angeles didn't pay attention. They got caught up with the Black and Brown Coalition talk, which was code word to remove black people out of LA through urban gentrification, something that I discuss in my revised book. Only a few blacks are still there, but again, they don't have a political base like they used to have. Back here in Chicago, I found a video clip entitled, quote, "You're not going to continue to ignore us. Citizens slam mayor, city council about migrants," unquote. To watch the full video, just go to my Medium page and look for the exact title of this presentation. Then click on the topic and scroll down to show and prove. There was a sister by the name of Zakiya Mohammed that knew Brandon Johnson from the work he used to do before he entered into politics. I encourage my listeners to go to my Medium page and select the exact title of this presentation, then scroll down to show and prove to watch the full video clip. After the city council meeting, Brandon Johnson reached out to the Chicago NAACP and black preachers. Black preachers today are not stepping up as they once did during the civil rights era. Dr. King Jr. and other black Christian leaders went beyond the four walls of the church, out into the streets, marching and protesting against the injustice of black Americans. Today, our black politicians are in the pockets of the white supremacist financial elites. Notice they're prioritizing people who's not even citizens of this country, people who don't pay taxes, people who did not vote, and yet black Americans cannot get access to these same resources. Our young black adults are not involved with the black church like they once did in the past, because the black church as a whole has become compromised. They have embraced the LGBT agenda, which goes against God's word. The Democrats are not used to black people demanding tangibles for our vote. Over here, the grassroots community activist movement, we promote black economic empowerment. We promote lineage-based cash payment reparations for descendants of American slaves, and also we promote an anti-black hate crime bill. This is our last fight in the United States of America. The problem we've had in the past was that we use our energy, our voice, and our time fighting for other groups, and what we got in return from these other groups, nothing. So we've learned that we have to put out the fire in our house first, then worry about others. These other groups tell us to pull ourselves up by our bootstraps. So since we've learned from that experience, we're not going to repeat that same mess over here. The economy and this immigration issue is what's waking up Black America. Mayor Brandon Johnson needs to take heed to what The African American community is telling him the DNC, Democratic National Committee, is not going to save his political career. I know that in God's time, and once we get our film project fully funded and made, then black people across Chicago and across this nation will come out and want to be a part of this great Christian business, because we aim to be the heart of the African American community, and we're reaching out to African immigrants across the United States to help us build the Grassroots Community Activist Institute of Chicago. This will be a 21st century solution-based organization. We're going to solve old problems within the United States and throughout the diaspora, including the African continent, if given a chance. I would never get involved with running for public office because the white supremacist financial elites created both political parties, Democrats and Republicans, to give the public an illusion that they have a choice. These current black politicians are for their political party first, not the African American community. They are told to eliminate black issues based on the Monahan Report. To learn more about the Monahan Report, just go to my Medium page and select the exact title of this presentation and scroll down to show and prove. Black people don't respect the NAACP because they have a track record of being tied with the black boule. They're really an all lives matter organization. The black church does not have any clout like they once did in the past because they're not doing what Dr. King Jr. did. He fought head to head against white supremacy. Today, the black preachers stay behind the pulpit talking about prosperity gospel, focusing more on tithes and offering. If you read the scriptures, Jesus himself went out to the streets. He got involved in politics. Jesus talked about the tax collector. He got on the merchants for selling items in the synagogue. The black churches does not call out all this degeneracy like they did in the past for fear of losing members. So Brandon Johnson, you're getting the black preachers and the NAACP to help get black people in line. That's not going to help you. They have no influence. The mayor needs to focus on his constituents, not people from elsewhere. If you care about your political future, you would focus on the people who help get you elected into office. That's what I would do if I was in politics. The Democrat Party have neglected their base, and that's why they are in trouble in the polls. If the Democrats did right by black people, then there's no way that Trump would be leading in the polls. How within 3 years, when the majority of black people couldn't stand Trump, all of a sudden want to vote for him? If black Chicagoans are serious about sending a strong message to the Democrats, they would, within 6 months, get enough people to sign a referendum to vote Mayor Brandon Johnson out of office, since he won't turn away the buses. That would send a strong message, but I don't believe black Chicagoans will do that. I'm just saying. The American dream is no more. What I mean, back in the day, you could have made it with only one income. You could raise a nuclear family of 3, buy a home for your wife and kids. As the man, you would pay all the bills. Fast forward today, young people can't afford to rent a one-bedroom apartment. I remember back in the 90s, you could get an apartment for $500. If you had bad credit, then you would just have to pay the deposit. Nowadays, the landlord wants a deposit, an application fee, and 3 months rent up front. They want you to make 3 times the rent. To me, that's not right. Renting an apartment 3 times the rent. Some people don't make 3 times the rent in America. This all happened on former President Barack Obama's watch during the financial meltdown in 2008. Instead of him holding the bankers responsible for their actions, he made it harder for the average American citizens prior to the crash. After the new rules created by the Obama administration, you had to put 3.5% down in order to buy a home. The new rules under the Obama administration just about killed the American dream. Please leave a public comment on my YouTube page about the topic. Most of all, share the video podcast with your friends. This will help get the ball rolling. The third topic, politicians practicing benign and neglect against Black Americans. We see the outcome of politicians choosing to practice benign and neglect. We see the outcome of politicians choosing to practice benign and neglect. According to the Today's show, take a look at the video clip on my Medium page entitled, quote, Trump takes lead over Biden for the first time in NBC poll history, unquote. So if this is the number that they are admitting to, because you know they're biased, but what do you think the rest of their data is telling them as it pertains to Pacific states? Their reasoning is because of the Israel and Hamas war and key voting bloc like voters of color, women voters, independent voters, and younger voters. We just covered all of this, I believe, last week. It's because of the black votes. Whenever black people take the number down, the mainstream media will try to deflect. It's only going to get worse for them because the problem is the Democrats don't have enough of the civil rights generation anymore because life happens. They will have to talk with Generation X, Black millennials, and Generation Z. We're demanding tangible for our votes. It's a different in mindsets. We're not grateful to anybody for something that we built. We're not grateful. So now this is where the fundamental difference is between our generation and our grandparents' generation before. California Democratic Convention was canceled amid a large Gaza ceasefire protest took over the streets around the California Democratic Convention due to security concerns. Democrat Party Progressive Caucus says this protest took place because party leadership was not listening. This was the second time protesters disrupt the convention. The Democrats across the board can't afford major deflections. No more free rides. This time, the Democrats are either going to deliver tangibles or we ain't going to show up for them at the polls. People listening to me, they are keeping track of these numbers because they need to know exactly what percentage of black population is still looking to politics as a solution and what percent is looking for a solution outside of politics. Democrat shields like Roland Martin get paid to misinform you. If Biden loses this election, Roland Martin will be out of a job because he will be unable to influence black voters to the polls and vote blue no matter who anymore. The Biden administration had decided that they are going to use the buffer class to fight against the black population in America for resources. Politicians practicing benign and neglect and being too full of themselves, thinking that they can just ignore people and their issues, and costs is getting higher. It's getting higher across the board. I have a feeling that the cost is going to continue to escalate, despite what some people may think. Please leave a public comment on my YouTube page about the topic. Most of all, share this video podcast with your friends. This will help get the ball rolling. I'm encouraging everyone that's on my Facebook friends list, everyone that's in my social groups, to please join the grassroots community activist movement. First, help get my revised book on that bestsellers list and read my story for yourself. If you agree with my vision and plan to help improve Black America, then make arrangements with me so that you can come on the show and we can talk about it. Also, donate what you can on our GoFundMe page to our film project, because that's going to help us move this organization from behind the computer and get our message out on the big screen so that way people can take us serious. Again, those who will work with me and Sister Renee as it pertains to this film project will go down in history with us. Again, Gracayo Chicago, under our for-profit part of the business, we want to own and control our own, housing, so that way we can have mixed housing for middle class Black people, working class Black people, and the so-called underclass Black people. I want to give people an opportunity for us to work together regardless of the class. But we do need our brothers and sisters from the middle class, because it takes capital. And we want to do things that's going to be tailored for them as well. And I talk about that in the book. We're also going to own and control our own grocery store. And we're going to own and control our own health care clinic. We want to become the heart of the Black or the African American community. We want to become the heart of it. Starting here in the city of Chicago, we want to also expand to the south side of Chicago, make our presence known there in the African American community. And what I have to do, I have no choice, because this has been 32 years that I've been pushing my vision and plan here in Chicago. I'm turning the business over to qualified Black middle class professionals, and I am going to have African immigrants that have been working with us to come with me when we go to South Africa to shoot our second film. And when I go there, I'm going to apply for dual citizenship to prove to Africans that I mean business. And so I want to go on the African continent and replicate the same business that I created here in America. And with the help of African immigrants, we're going to go to those 10 African nations to set up chapters. So that way, it can give Black parents options. You don't have to live in America and be treated as third and fourth class citizens. But, to each his own. But I'm going to prove to you that we want to bring our talents over there on the African continent to help improve the African economy in exchange for citizenship. That's what I'm about. And again, as for me and my house, I'm reclaiming my ancestral homeland, which is Africa. Those of you who want to continue to stay in America and fight, to each his own. More power to you. But you will have Chicago here as an example that we was here. Um, all I can say to my brothers and sisters that want to be, still stay here in America and fight. I mean, look at what happened to Black Wall Street. Our people, pulled themselves up by their bootstraps and build a nice, successful towns and all that stuff. But the white supremacist financial elites, they sabotaged it. You know what I'm saying? So long as you live in America, they're going to sabotage us. Every time we try to do something positive, they have the laws on their sides because they make the rules. It's their country. America was built on anti-black racism before the U.S. Constitution was written. You have to keep that stuff in mind. So all the marching and protesting, that's fine and dandy. But at the end of the day, the white supremacist financial elites, they still control this. They control everything. Over here, we're trying to build our own system. I've been sharing that with my brothers and sisters for the past 32 years, and they've been laughing at me and taking me for joke. So that's why my organization is going to be membership-based. I'm only working with people that want more out of life, and we're going to vet everybody. Anybody that I would say feel like that this is a scam, or if you read my story and you disagree with the vision that my creator has given me, you would not be part of my business, point blank. There's nothing else to talk about. I would suggest that you would delete me off your friends list and do not come to no events with my name on it. And that's real. I did not stutter. Again, it's unfortunate that I have to, it took so long, 32 years, trying to do something positive for my racial group. A business that's going to help our youth. A business that want to focus on working with, I would say, broken families in the inner cities. And you don't want that. You want to sit up here and patronize all these other groups, their business. So that's very disrespectful. That's how come my business is going to be membership based. Because we want to come against this Willie Lynch mentality. They don't want to see me have a successful black business. Those people that's full of Willie Lynch. And so it is what it is. But I love my people. That's how come I'm still in America. That's why I'm still here in Chicago, trying to get the thing popping. But again, me and Sister Renee can't do this by ourselves. This is a Nehemiah assignment. So, here on out, again, we're going to just be using our GoFundMe page because I don't know how long it's going to take before we're able to raise that $500,000 for this film project. I don't know. But one thing I do know is that I'm going to do the best that I can to keep doing these commentaries, trying to interact with people that's on my friends list and encouraging people to share the video, help it go viral. So that way that can help get the ball rolling for more people that's going to donate. And we will see an increase on our GoFundMe page. That's going to indicate that, we're doing the right thing and that we are going to turn this, all the ideas that I've been talking about from my revised book, we're going to turn it into a reality, but we want to get it on the big screen first to let, I would say, for credibility to Black America, throughout the diaspora, and the Black world. All right? Also, we're not going to be under the red, black, and green flag, the so-called freedom flag, because that's somebody else's ideology. Again, I respect Marcus Garvey to an extent. I don't like the fact that he was trying to get donations from the Ku Klux Klan. That wasn't cool. You know what I'm saying? And if y'all believe me, do the research. You'll find out that he solicited the Ku Klux Klan. And he never went to Africa himself. He went to Europe, and that's where he died, in Europe. Over here, I'm not just talking the stuff I'm saying. I'm trying to make that happen, but we have God in ours. And we want to give people that's, I would say, secular people, give them options. If they don't believe in God all the way, that's fine. But as long as they're not no hardcore atheists, I don't want to deal with those type of people. But this is a Christian business, and I can prove everything I say, but if given a chance. But this business, I want this to be the best African American business in the United States of America. That's what I'm aiming for. And I hope and pray that it can be similar to like McDonald's, that we can have franchises across the inner cities in America. That's what I hope. And throughout the world, but especially on the African continent, those 10 African nations, and then eventually the whole 53 African nations, and in the Caribbean as well as in Brazil. Okay, with that being said, that's going to conclude our show for today. Peace and blessings.